The Book of Enoch describes a time when the earth did not belong to humans. It belonged to monsters. They were called the Nephilim, the illegitimate children of angels and human women. But these were not normal children. The ancient texts say they grew to 300 cubits tall. They were walking mountains of muscle and hunger. Imagine a creature that could crush a village with a single step. That is what humanity faced. For years, the Nephilim devoured everything. First, they ate all the birds, beasts, and reptiles. Then, they ate all the crops of the land. And when there was nothing left, they turned on humanity. The Bible says the earth was filled with violence, but Enoch gives us the graphic details. It was a slaughterhouse. Humans were hunted like insects. The Nephilim drank blood, which was the ultimate taboo. From the high mountains, their fathers, the fallen watchers, looked down with pride. They thought they had created a new master race. They thought God was blind. But the screams of the earth were rising. The blood of the innocent was crying out from the ground, loud enough to shake the gates of heaven. The age of monsters was about to end, not with a whisper, but with a massacre. High above the carnage, the 4 archangels looked down through the window of heaven. Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel. They saw the blood. They saw the lawlessness. They brought the case before the throne of glory. The earth is without inhabitant, they said. The voice of their crying goes up to heaven. God did not send a flood immediately. First, he sent a sword. He called Gabriel, not Michael, the warrior, not Raphael, the healer. He chose Gabriel for a specific kind of warfare. The command given in Enoch chapter 10 is chilling. Proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of the watchers from amongst men. The order was specific. Send them one against the other that they may destroy each other in battle. This was psychological warfare. Gabriel was not sent to duel them one by one. He was sent to incite a civil war. He was granted the authority to twist their minds, to turn their unnatural aggression against themselves. Gabriel descended from the throne room. He did not carry a flaming sword like his brother. He carried a spear of divine light, a weapon designed not just to cut flesh, but to sever the bond of loyalty. He was coming to turn the Nephilim into their own executioners.
Gabriel landed in the Valley of Giants. The ground shook upon his impact, creating a crater of holy fire. The Nephilim stopped their feasting. Imagine thousands of giants, towering like skyscrapers, turning their gaze toward one small, shining figure. They roared, a sound that shattered trees. They rushed him. This is where we see the true terror of an archangel. Gabriel didn't flinch. He moved faster than thought. He stood in the center of the chaotic horde. When a giant swung a massive club meant to crush him, Gabriel didn't block it. He simply vanished and reappeared, redirecting the blow so it smashed into the skull of another giant. He was a conductor of violence. He whispered into their minds, amplifying their paranoia. He is trying to take your territory. He wants to eat your flesh. The Nephilim, creatures of pure instinct and rage, snapped. Their eyes turned red with confusion. They forgot the angel. They turned on each other. Gabriel stood in the ire of the storm, his wings spread wide, casting blinding pulses of light that drove the monsters into a frenzy. The valley transformed from a hunting ground into a gladiator arena. The spark was lit. The massacre had begun.
The scale of the battle was unlike anything Earth had ever seen. It was a kaiju war. Mountains were leveled as bodies slammed into them. Rivers were dammed by piles of gigantic corpses. The Nephilim tore each other apart with bare hands, teeth, and primitive weapons of war. The sound of breaking bones echoed like thunder across the continents. Gabriel flew above the chaos, watching the extermination with cold precision. Whenever the fighting slowed, whenever a giant tried to flee, Gabriel was there, a flash of light blocking the path, forcing them back into the meat grinder. From the mountains, the Watchers, the fathers of these monsters, screamed in horror. They tried to intervene. They tried to rush down to save their children, but Gabriel's power held them back. He bound them with invisible chains of judgment. Part of their punishment was this: to watch the destruction of their beloved offspring and be powerless to stop it. Enoch writes that they begged for mercy, but Gabriel's face was stone. "God has rejected your petition," he declared. The Watchers were forced to witness every decapitation, every dismemberment. The civil war of the giants lasted until the soil was so soaked in black blood that it could no longer drink.
Silence finally fell upon the earth, a silence heavier than death. The last Nephilim fell, pierced by the tusk of his own brother. Gabriel descended once more, his feet touching the muddy, blood-soaked ground. He stood amidst a graveyard of titans. Millions of dead monsters lay rotting under the sun. The mission was complete. The unnatural abomination was wiped from the face of creation. Gabriel looked up at the Watchers, who were now weeping in despair. Their pride was broken. Their legacy was erased. But the job was not finished. The physical monsters were dead, but the corruption remained. The earth itself smelled of decay. Gabriel sheathed his spear of light and looked toward the horizon. He nodded to the sky. It was time for the next phase. The fire of war had done its work. Now the water of cleansing was needed. Dark clouds began to gather, darker than ever before. The first drops of rain began to fall on the giant corpses. The flood was coming. In the next episode, we will follow Archangel Raphael into the deep desert. His target is not an army, but a single individual, the leader of the fallen angels, Azazel. The hunt for the ultimate demon begins.